While most states are tightening their borders, one state is doing the complete opposite. Illinois has spent over $2.5 billion on migrants since 2023. The state passed laws preventing police from helping federal immigration agents. They made it illegal to arrest undocumented immigrants near schools and hospitals. But here is the twist. The federal government is fighting back harder than ever before, launching massive raids that have arrested thousands. This is the story of how Illinois became ground zero in America's immigration war. And what is happening right now might shock you. Let me take you back to August 2022. Buses start arriving in Chicago from Texas. These are not ordinary buses. They are packed with migrants, mostly families fleeing Venezuela. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is sending them north, and Chicago becomes one of his main destinations. The first few buses create confusion. By the time the 100th bus rolls in, Chicago is facing a full-blown humanitarian crisis. More than 51,000 migrants have been sent to Illinois from the southern border. Most of them end up in Chicago. The city has never seen anything like this. Shelters start filling up, hotels get converted into temporary housing, even police stations become makeshift dormitories. At one point, in January 2024, nearly 15,000 people are living in city-run shelters. But shelters cost money, a lot of money. According to a report from the Illinois Public Policy Institute, the state has spent over $2.5 billion on migrants by the end of 2025. Healthcare dominates the spending. The state spent over $1.6 billion on migrant healthcare through programs that cover medical costs for people regardless of immigration status. In 2023 alone, healthcare costs outpaced expected spending by over $400 million. Beyond healthcare, the state allocated $478 million through something called the Welcoming with Dignity initiative. Chicago alone has spent more than $400 million over 2 years. The bulk of that money, nearly $253 million, went to one private company called Favorite Healthcare Staffing. Another $76 million went to Equitable Social Solutions. Here is where it gets interesting. A lawsuit revealed that property owners are making serious money from these shelter contracts. One West Loop building owner signed a lease with the city for $150,000 per month to house up to 650 migrants. If more than 650 people stayed there, they could earn an additional $400,000 per month. When reporters tried to find out more details, they hit a wall. The city has a spending dashboard, but it does not list the actual property owners or the specific lease agreements. The spending has created massive tension, especially in Chicago's black communities. Several black aldermen said it is deeply painful to watch the city spend hundreds of millions on migrants when their own neighborhoods have suffered from disinvestment for decades. The crisis forced Mayor Brandon Johnson to implement a controversial 60-day limit on shelter stays. After 60 days, migrants would have to return to the city's landing zone and start the process over, but the deadline got extended multiple times due to freezing winter weather. By October 2024, the city announced it would end the eviction policy entirely as part of a new unified shelter system. Meanwhile, Illinois population tells a fascinating story. The state actually grew in 2024 for the first time in 11 years, gaining 68,000 people. The reason? More than 113,000 net immigrants arrived in the state. But during that same period, nearly 57,000 Illinois residents left for other states, making Illinois the third worst state for domestic migration. The concern among policy experts is that unless Illinois fixes its high taxes and poor job market, the international migrants who just arrived will soon leave too. Now let me explain how Illinois became what critics call a sanctuary state. This did not happen overnight. It is the result of multiple laws passed over several years. The foundation is something called the Illinois Trust Act, passed in 2017. This law fundamentally changed how local police interact with federal immigration agents. Under the Trust Act, local law enforcement cannot stop, arrest, search, or detain someone based on their citizenship or immigration status. They cannot hold someone for immigration and customs enforcement, known as ICE. based on a detainer request. These detainer requests are basically ICE asking local police to hold someone for up to 48 hours after they should be released so ICE can pick them up. Illinois said, no. Local police do not have to comply unless ICE has a criminal warrant signed by a judge. The law also prohibits police from entering agreements to house or detain people for federal civil immigration violations. Several counties tried to partner with ICE to run detention facilities. Illinois shut that down. The state effectively banned immigration detention facilities in 2021. Today, there are 0 federal immigration detention centers in Illinois. But the state did not stop there. Then came the big one, House Bill 1312, signed into law in December 2025. This law takes sanctuary policies to a whole new level. It creates what advocates call ICE-free zones. It bans civil immigration arrests at or within 1,000 feet of courthouses. If you're going to court as a witness or for any legal reason, ICE cannot arrest you there. The law also extends protections to hospitals, public universities, community colleges, licensed daycares, and schools. Here's the part that has the federal government furious. The law allows people to sue immigration agents who violate their constitutional rights during civil immigration enforcement. The minimum statutory damages are $10,000 per violation. You can hold federal officers personally liable in state court. Illinois. Attorney General Kwame Raoul has made it clear his office will defend these laws. The legal foundation for Illinois' position comes from a 1997 Supreme Court case called Prince versus United States. That case established that the federal government cannot compel state and local officers to administer federal programs. Illinois says enforcing federal immigration law is a federal responsibility, not a state one. Federal courts have backed them up. But then Donald Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, and everything changed. The Trump administration made immigration enforcement its top priority. They launched something called Operation Midway Blitz in the Chicago area. This became one of the largest immigration enforcement operations in United States history. The numbers are staggering. In just a few weeks, ICE arrested more than 3,000 people in the Chicago area alone. Nationwide, ICE has arrested over 400,000 migrants since Trump took office. Between September 2023 and July 2025, ICE arrested more than 132,000 immigrants with prior convictions across the country. The administration says they are targeting criminals first, but the operation casts a much wider net. Here's where things get controversial. The Trump administration says ICE came to Chicago to arrest the worst of the worst, criminal, illegal aliens who flocked to sanctuary cities. But when you look at who ICE is actually arresting, the story gets more complicated. Take Maricela Rosales Castillo. She is 53 years old and has lived in the United States for 3 decades. In October 2025, she left her home in Berwyn to buy groceries. She was planning to make meatball stew for her children. Just steps from her house, Border Patrol agents wearing dark masks intercepted her. She had no criminal record beyond her immigration status. Or consider a man whose wife said he lived in Illinois for 30 years, was a good husband and father to 2 teenage American citizens, and had no issues with the law for the past decade. He was arrested and detained. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino has been leading many of the operations on the ground. He has had tense standoffs with local officials. In one incident, agents broke the window of a pickup truck to detain 2 men outside a Home Depot. The Trump administration argues that undocumented immigrants drive violent crime in Illinois. But the data tells a more nuanced story. Governor Pritzker points to a 28% drop in homicides in Chicago in early 2025, compared to the same period in 2024. Research from multiple academic studies shows that undocumented immigration does not increase violence. Crime statistics from the Border Patrol show substantial reductions in criminal apprehensions. Property crimes declined by 60%, and driving under the influence violations decreased by 61% when comparing partial 2025 data through June with complete 2024 figures. Weapons-related charges dropped 62%. Sexual offense convictions fell by nearly 60%. Even homicide and manslaughter cases decreased by 48%. The American Civil Liberties Union of Illinois says the Trump administration has never been interested in finding actual solutions to violence in cities like Chicago. Instead, they use public safety as a weapon against local officials who do not share their policy outlooks. The battle has moved to the courts and to Congress. In April 2025, the House Oversight Committee called Governor Pritzker to testify alongside other governors from sanctuary states. The committee accused Illinois of blocking federal immigration enforcement and putting public safety at risk. Pritzker defended Illinois' approach. He argued that sanctuary policies make communities safer by encouraging immigrants to work with police and report crimes without fear of deportation. The Trump administration escalated further. In his second term, Trump signed executive orders designed to cut off federal funding to sanctuary states like Illinois. The orders required the Department of Homeland Security and the Attorney General to publish a list of states and local jurisdictions they considered to be obstructing federal immigration laws. Federal departments would then identify grants or contracts with those jurisdictions and suspend or terminate the money. In August 2025, the administration released a revised list of sanctuary jurisdictions. 12 states made the list, including Illinois. The list also included the District of Columbia, 4 counties, and 18 cities. Illinois and most of its counties ended up on the list, along with 7 towns including Chicago, Evanston, Berwyn, Oak Park, Skokie, St. Joseph, and Urbana. Attorney General Pam Bondi sent letters to sanctuary states, cities, and counties in August 2025, warning them that if they are not abiding by federal policies, the administration is going to come after them. But Illinois fought back in court and won major victories. In July 2025, a federal judge dismissed the Trump administration's sanctuary policies case against Illinois, Chicago, and Cook County. Judge Lindsey Jenkins wrote that the state and local policies reflect a decision to not participate in enforcing civil immigration law, a decision protected by the 10th Amendment. The judge added that the federal government cannot commandeer states under the guise of intergovernmental immunity. The Trump administration immediately appealed the decision. Illinois Attorney General Raoul joined 20 other Democratic attorneys general in filing lawsuits in May 2025 against Trump administration policies designed to block federal funding to states that do not carry out United States immigration enforcement. The lawsuits challenged policies at the Departments of Homeland Security and Transportation that illegally tie grant funding for items such as natural disaster recovery and road construction to whether the state participates in federal immigration enforcement. In September 2025, Illinois and the Coalition of Attorneys General won their lawsuit over attempts to withhold nearly $2 billion in disaster relief funds from states with sanctuary cities. The District Court for the District of Rhode Island granted summary judgment for the Attorneys General against the Department of Homeland Security. Judge William E. Smith rejected what he called the arbitrary and capricious conditions laid out by the Trump administration regarding immigration enforcement, saying the order was unconstitutional and violated the Administrative Procedure Act. A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson responded by saying states with sanctuary laws on the books should not receive federal funding, and that the administration was determined to detain and deport immigrants without legal status. No lawsuit, not this one or any other, is going to stop us from doing that, the spokesperson said. Despite the legal victories, ICE operations continue in Illinois. Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino returned to Little Village in November 2025 after playing a key role in the early phases of Operation Midway Blitz. Agents continue making arrests across the Chicago area. The atmosphere in immigrant communities has changed dramatically. Fear has spread through neighborhoods that have been home to immigrant families for decades. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson celebrated the July court ruling, saying, "Chicago's welcoming city ordinance is lawful and supports public safety." Governor Pritzker posted on social media that Illinois just beat the Trump administration in federal court, but the battle is far from over. The Trump administration has made it clear they will continue pursuing sanctuary jurisdictions. They are appealing court losses and looking for new ways to pressure states like Illinois. At least one jurisdiction has backed down under pressure, but most Democratic-led cities and states are holding firm. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson said in a news conference that Attorney General Bondi seeks to have Washington state bend the knee to a Trump administration that drags us closer to authoritarianism day by day. That is not going to happen. The situation in Illinois represents a fundamental clash over federalism, immigration enforcement, and the limits of presidential power. On one side, you have a state that has spent billions of dollars welcoming migrants, passed some of the strongest sanctuary laws in the nation, and consistently won in court when defending those policies. On the other side, you have a federal administration conducting massive deportation operations, threatening to cut off billions in federal funding, and arguing that sanctuary policies violate the Constitution and endanger public safety. The question of whether undocumented immigrants increase crime remains hotly debated, even though the weight of academic research suggests they do not. The question of how much states should spend on migrants divides communities, especially when longtime residents see their own neighborhoods struggling with disinvestment. The question of whether the federal government can force states to enforce federal immigration law has been answered by courts, at least for now, but the Trump administration keeps trying new approaches. What happens next in Illinois will shape immigration policy across America. If the federal government succeeds in cutting off funding or forcing compliance, other sanctuary states will face the same pressure. If Illinois continues to prevail in court, it will embolden other jurisdictions to resist. The legal battles will likely reach the Supreme Court. The deportation operations will continue, and millions of people, both immigrants and citizens, will watch nervously to see whether Illinois sanctuary policies can withstand the full weight of federal power. This is a story about money, law, politics, and human lives. It's a story about a state that decided to go its own way on immigration, and a federal government determined to make them fall in line. And as of December 2025, neither side is backing down.